If you just train 4 facial muscles 3 minutes before you go to sleep, you will get a model to your face and it will help you attract so many women. And since I'm not a looksmaxxing guru teaching you how to destroy your skull with a hammer, I will tell you the truth. This will take months, and that's why so many looksmaxxers quit this journey, because you have been lied to. There's so many popular looksmaxxers on the internet right now who's saying like, I got a 3-month crazy natural transformation by doing trends like leanness law, bone smashing and gua sha. So why would they lie about this, you may ask? And it's because they are selling a dream, not the solution. Think about it. If it was that easy, everybody would look like a model, but they don't. So in this video, I will walk you through my 3-minute face workout that has slowly improved me and my students' looks month after month naturally. So the muscle number 1 that we want to train is something called the Hyoid bone. I remember back in 2020 when I was in 7th grade and me and my friends had been doing like a video group project that we were going to present in front of the whole entire class. And to give you a little description of me, I was one of the smallest boys, like actually just the smallest person in like the whole class. Like I was even at the same height as like the smallest girls from the class. And not only that, but my looks weren't that great either. So I literally had like nothing to be confident about, because I wasn't as charismatic as the popular guys as well. So I didn't really have that well speaking skills. I was just a happy, smiling guy that people kinda like to talk to, but it wasn't any like attractive traits about me. So I was really scared when me and my group had to present this video in front of the class, because I'm always a guy, when I'm doing something I put my heart into it, right? So I had really been doing like some crazy facial expressions, and I felt like, you know, I was like an actor like in a movie, right? So I had really like done some crazy body language. And the thing was, when the movie got played, or like the clip in front of the whole entire class, I clearly remember a specific point of the video where they had taken like a shot of me from like the side, where one of my friends who was like the killer in the movie, he was like 2 heads taller than me, right? And he was looking down at me like this in the video, and he kind of grabbed me on my shirt and, you know, kind of pulled me up. And the thing was that I clearly remembered seeing my face, right? And I saw that from my side profile, I had what looked like fat hanging off under my jawline. And I had never been like aware of this. I never thought about this, because it's not that often that I see myself from the side profile. And it was from that moment on that I started to really obsess about my looks, already from back then, because it was already a kind of topic to have like, you know, the good and lean jawline that just looks so good, and we kind of knew that it will make you more attractive, but I just didn't know how to make it more attractive. And a few years later from this point, I actually learned on exactly how you can get rid of that like skin that is hanging off under your jawline that completely ruins your like looks from the side profile when someone is trying to take a picture of you, or if you just want to look good in a picture from like the side. And the way that you get rid of this like fat or skin so you can tighten it up is training your muscles that you have around your hyoid bone. So basically your hyoid bone is a U-shaped bone that you have right under your jaw here, and you have some muscles around this bone that if trained you can raise it up properly so that your skin gets tightened up as well. So let me teach you exactly the exercise that you can do in order to get rid of that skin under here. And what I want you to do as the action step is that while I explain exactly how to do this exercise and show you as well, I want you to do it with me so you can actually understand exactly how to do it on later on, so you don't just say, oh, I will do it later, but then you obviously forget about it. So do it with me right now so you can understand how to do it. So when doing the neck curl for your supra and infra hyoid muscles to raise your hyoid bone, you want to lie on a flat surface. I recommend doing it on your bed just a few minutes before you're going to sleep. That's the easiest way to do it. It takes like 1 minute. So what you want to do from this position is that you want to align your shoulders with the end of your bed, as you can see I've done. Then what you want to do from here is simply just lowering your neck downwards and thinking about bringing your jaw backwards like this to make a really good deep stretch around your muscles. So you do it like this. When you are at the bottom, you now simply just want to think about rolling your neck inwards. So bringing basically your chin into your neck, and then you just lift up from there. And then you want to think about bringing your chin into this little hole that we have around our neck right here. You're not going to touch it. It's just, that's the like mind muscle connection we want to have. And then you simply just repeat. Until failure. When this becomes too easy for you, I really recommend using like a plate of weights, and then you just do the same. Oh shit. You just place your plate on the top of your head. Simply just go in the lowering phase again. Ah, fuck. Shitty camera. Oh, fuck. Okay, I will just do it with one hand since it's fucking annoying. You just do this, and then you just bring your head up again. And again, then you simply just do that to failure. If it's too difficult, then simply just use your palm as well for like some extra resistance. You can do that as well. When doing this exercise, you want to aim for at least getting like 10 to 20 reps. It's okay if you get more, because we want to kind of learn how to get the mind muscle connection, so you actually feel the burn around your muscles. That's the most important thing. And then I honestly just recommend doing one set of these and then do it every second day of like the week. So let's say, for example, you train your neck on Monday, then you rest Tuesday, and then you do it again on Wednesday. Then you rest on Thursday, and then you go again on Friday, and so forth. Now you just keep repeating this system. If you feel sore, it's really important that you didn't just take a rest day. There's no reason to try to train a muscle that is already broken down. So just recover the muscle, eat a lot of protein, and you're good to go. So now that we know how to tighten our skin up, let's go to the next step, which is muscle number 2, the Orbicularis oculi. There's so much beef on the internet right now talking about if it's actually possible to get the hunter eyes or if it's just genetically. And I have the answer to that. So the thing is, there's something called either a negative, neutral or positive canthal tilt, and it's said that if you have a positive canthal tilt, you can have the hunter eyes. If you have all the other ones, you're just cooked. That's basically just what the black pillars say, right? But I actually have found a method that even if you don't have a positive canthal tilt, we can get the hunter eyes. So let me tell you exactly what that method is, and I call it the PPCT method. It stands for perceived positive canthal tilt. And the way that we can get this is by simply just training our muscle around our eye. So you can pull the end of your eyebrows in an upwards direction, so it has this kind of angle, and you can combine that with getting less upper eyelid exposure, so you will get the hunter eyes, because that's what will make it look like you have a positive canthal tilt, even though you actually don't have it. And it's so impressive how much of a difference this does, because one day when I was 16 years old, I was going to something called an after school here in my country. It's basically just a school where you live together with like roommates, and then you of course sleep together, live together, do hobbies together, etc., and then you study together, and then you repeat that cycle. And there was one specific day where me and all of my friends, we had just been playing basketball, I think it was, and after we had been playing basketball, we all decided, of course, that now we were going down to the cafeteria and we wanted to get something to eat. And when we got down to this table and we were speaking, all of a sudden I had like the speech in front of everyone, right? And I was telling a story, I'm pretty sure, and when I was telling this story, I'm always a guy who's very expressive with my body language. So my eyes were going up like this when I was saying something very important, you know, and I was smiling a lot and my hands were moving all over. And I clearly remember that one of the people that was sitting with us, all of a sudden he interrupted me while I was speaking to all of, you know, my friends, and he all of a sudden just had to make me feel so insecure all of a sudden, because he said this: "Why are you so overly engaged with your eyes when you're speaking?" And that sentence, I'm not even gonna lie, that hit me out of that social flow and enjoyment that I had. From that point on, I kept on wondering, why did my eyes actually look like that when I was speaking? Because it wasn't something that I was aware of that I was doing. And I learned that it's actually a muscle that you have in around your forehead that is called the frontalis muscle, that is actually just over engaged throughout basically your whole entire life when you're speaking to people. And it's just a way that you are expressing your emotions, you could say. And the problem is that when you have been expressing this muscle and this emotion throughout your whole entire life, you will start getting a lot of upper eyelid exposure because you're used to having your eyebrows raised up like this. So now let me teach you exactly exercise that we can do to help us to raise our frontalis muscle down and get our eyebrows to have a positive tilt so we can get those attractive hunter eyes. So the best way to train your Orbicularis oculi is to do an exercise that I call the eye puller. So the eye puller is simply just where you take either your index fingers or your middle fingers and then you just put them on your eyebrows, and then you simply just want to put resistance upwards and then twist your fingers a bit to the side so you get the deep stretch, and then you will kind of pull your eyebrow upwards. And over time, the point of this is simply just that you bring your eyebrows a little bit upwards so that you have what's called a perceived positive candle tilt. It basically just means that even though you don't have the genetics for a positive candle tilt, we can make it look like we actually have a positive tilt. So take your index fingers and put it by roughly the end of your eyebrows. It's kind of different from person to person because some of my students, for example, they had really long eyebrows, so they had to go more inwards. So basically the best rule is simply just try to feel about where the arc is. Can you see how my eyebrows have an arc here? Then you simply just want to put the finger right under this arc. And then what you want to do is not just pull on the skin because you will have a weak grip basically. You want to really think about pulling under the skin and the muscle, so you really grab under here. Then what you do from here is simply just pull upwards and then twist your fingers to the side, so you kind of, your vision becomes kind of blurry. The Asian look basically. So what we do from here is simply just twist our fingers and then we just squint down as hard as possible like this. Fuck, I already feel a big burn around my eye area, and that's when you know that you're doing this correctly. Simply just do this until failure, and then you want to think about aiming for at least 20 to 30 reps. And you will also only do one set of these every second day, just like with the neck curl. It's the same rules that applies as that one. But of course, looksmaxxing is so much more than just training your face. This is just the foundation, but we can also do things like getting the perfect hairstyle. We can skin max, getting rid of all the pimples and dead oily skin that we have. We can learn how to deload so our bone structure will come more in front, so the muscles and the bone structure is more shown. And that is exactly why that I've made a program with full guides on exactly how to do this that has helped me and my students completely transform their face in just a couple of months. And right now, as a bonus, you can also text me whenever you want inside of this program. So if you have any other questions that I'm not teaching about, you can ask me about it and I will tell you exactly how to fix that problem. It's in the top link of the description and all the details are there if you're interested in working together with me. So now that we understand how to get the attractive hunter eyes, let's go to muscle number 3. And this muscle is the one that is responsible for getting the popular term forward growth and fixing that recessed looking face that you have. It's the heart palate. So back in 2022, I started to really take life seriously. Instead of just being a lonely video gamer as I had always used to been, I actually wanted to try to become more attractive, improving myself so I could get more attraction from girls and more attention. So I started doing this because one of my best friends at that current time, he actually introduced me to going to the gym together with him. So we started to going to the gym like almost like, I think it was 4 to 5 times a week. And the reason why that I was so motivated to do this was obviously because I had him to train together with. But there was also a trend online that I had seen that people said that if you also train your body to become more attractive, not only will your body become more attractive, but your face will also change. So I was so hyped about this because I really did not have like the genetics for an like attractive face, so I was fucking desperate. I was like, please God, give me some fucking good genetics, please. Like, give me some kind of miracle that can save my face. So I started really becoming consistent. I started to bulk, to getting more muscle mass, and I stayed consistent on this path for 3 entire years until I took one good look at the mirror of myself again. And you know what? I realized that my face hasn't changed at all. So I was so pissed because I've been told this lie on the internet that I just had to train like my physique to become more attractive with my face. But nothing had fucking happened to my face. Like literally nothing had changed. And from that point on, I started to learn about what I could do to really improve my facial looks. And that's when I came across the term called mewing. So mewing is pretty basic. It's not gonna transform your face, but it's the baseline to actually not fucking up your face. The way that we actually do improve our face is through doing something called hard mewing. It's basically a progressively overloaded version of doing the mewing. Because I want you to think about this example. If you're going to the gym, right? And if you're taking a 5 kilo dumbbell and you're doing a bicep curl, let's say you're only at that level, right? And you keep doing this for some weeks, you do understand the like gym science that we of course need to progressively overload in order to get bigger muscles. So I started to think it's probably the same way with our face. Mewing is just a baseline that can actually, you know, fix our habit of not mouth breathing so that we have the roof of our mouth on the tip of our tongue. But how do we actually get like our jaw to getting pushed forward? And that's when I figured out that we can do hard mewing, just a progressively overloaded version. So let me show you exactly how to do that as well. The best exercise to train your hard palate is not mewing. There's so many people saying that mewing is like the way to get forward growth, but it's honestly just the baseline that you need to have down in order to not get a recessed look. For me personally, just doing mewing never put it enough pressure on to get me forward growth. I had to do a progressively overloaded version, which I call HM, which stands for hard mewing. So the way that we want to do hard mewing is that we want to take our tip of our tongue up against our hard palate, just like you would do if you were going to mew. So like this. But then what's gonna be interesting from here is that we want to think about applying as much pressure as possible up towards our hard palate. So let me teach you exactly how to do this the most correct way. So take your tongue up against the hard palate. What you want to do from here is bring your jaw upwards, so you kind of push it upwards to get more resistance like this. Then what you want to do from here is think about bringing your roof of your mouth downwards while going upwards with your mandible, you know, your lower jaw. So you kind of close on your tongue so you get more pressure like this. Now you should feel like you're really squeezing at your tongue up against the roof of your mouth. What you want to think about here is now you want to activate your tongue in a little bit of a different way. Because instead of just going upwards, we want to think about going upwards and then forwards up against like a wall that we have inside of our mouth at the hard palate, because there's a kind of hole. So you do like this. And then you simply just combine all of these steps with the previous steps. Oh, it already burns. And that's what I forgot to say. The last step is then that you just want to swallow to activate the suction part of the movement, which actually makes your tongue flattens out on the whole part of your palate, which will make you obviously get more forward growth and better progress. For this one, it's kind of interesting. You just want to do it as much as possible throughout the day as you remember it. Try to hold it for as long as you possibly can. It will be really difficult to even hold like 10 seconds in the start, but over time you'll be able to hold it like for minutes without almost even feeling any pain. And that's when you are knowing that you are actually progressively overloading. And then you just want to keep repeating it. If you're sore, then I would recommend just rest and then do it like the day after and see if you're not sore anymore. Then you can go again. So now that we understand exactly how to train this muscle, I really want to take a moment of actually trying to understand you better, because I have told my story about how I became interested in improving my looks. But what about you? What situation have you been through in your life that maybe made you realize that looks were such an important thing to actually improve in your life? So if you would do me that favor, go down into the comments and write exactly what made you want to start looksmaxxing. I would love to hear that story. But now let's go to the last muscle, which is muscle number 4, the masseter muscle. So I actually just discovered recently that I've been chewing the completely wrong way in my entire life. So basically, in order for you to understand, the masseter muscles is just the chewing muscles that you have. So when we are eating, we are activating this muscle, but only if you're eating the correct way, because so many people are munching and they are not eating correctly, which means that they are not activating their facial muscles, which often is actually the reason for why so many people have an underdeveloped face. And it was only here from like a few months ago when I started to actually learn how to chew more correctly that I've seen so much more progress with my masseter muscles getting a bit wider jawline and just overall more facial development, which made me way more attractive. So let me teach you exactly how to do this as well. So one of the most common reasons I see when people are eating is actually pretty funny. It's what I've been told my entire life, and that is that people are munching. If you're munching, basically chewing without closing your mouth properly, you're not activating, first of all, your tongue's muscle, you're not activating your masseter muscles properly, all these different things which actually underdevelops your face. So what I want you to practice is something really interesting. I call it chew mewing, and it's an experiment that I've done for the past couple of months, and I've seen such great results and like the biggest burn in like my whole entire face basically when I'm doing this exercise. So let me show you exactly what it is. So it's basically just you're chewing with a closed mouth, and then what you want to do from there is simply just think about putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth. So basically you're combining mewing and chewing at the same time, because the thing is, when you slowly start to think about putting your tongue on the roof of your mouth, you will start to push with your tongue up against the food, against the palate, which will somehow just activate all your facial muscles inside of your mouth. It's so crazy. Like I'm telling you, you'll feel the biggest burn ever, and it's gonna give you so many results. So just like we did with hard mewing, you simply just want to take a rest day if you feel like your masseter muscles are too fatigued. Then you simply just need to chew either softer food, or you can like chew less on the food, if that makes sense. So now that you understand how to train all of these facial muscles, that is the foundation to actually becoming more attractive, I just want you to realize something. Imagine how much more progress you could get if we could like do it on a call together. So you're literally doing the exercises on a call, and then I correct your technique over there. Imagine how much progress you could have. Imagine if I could make a customized workout plan just for you, both for your body, because that is also a really important trait to becoming more attractive, but doing that for your body and your face. Imagine how much more attractive you could become if you had this kind of coaching. That is exactly why that I'm opening a waiting list spot for applying for my one-to-one coaching. So if you're interested in working together with me so you can absolutely skyrocket your results, then go have a look at the second link in the description to apply for my one-to-one coaching. So now that we are at the end of this video, oh shit, fuck, kicking the camera, I really want to take a moment of actually appreciating that you are actually educating and learning yourself about how to improve your looks. Because the thing is, there's so many of what I call doom posters that is basically just people who have done peptides steroids and all these different things that are literally promoting to younger people that they should do this same thing in order to like transform. But I am absolutely against this kind of hard maxing niche. You should absolutely do it the soft maxing way, which is actually the way that we are supposed to do. The thing is, I shouldn't even be teaching this advice. You should have been taught this through when you were a kid. You should have been taught how to do proper habits that could actually lead you to getting attractive. That's why that the attractive kids from your school are attractive. It's because they have been doing correct habits throughout their whole entire life that didn't fuck up their face, basically. Comparing it to maybe you, who has maybe been mouth breathing, sleeping the wrong way, all these different things that we haven't been taught properly, that has been the cause of fucking up your looks. And that is exactly why that I'm here, and that's why I want you to really think about going down and clicking subscribe to this channel so you can get more of this advice, so I can help you become the most attractive version of yourself. And if you want to learn more right now, then I would highly recommend you to go and click this video over here. Thank you for watching and have an absolutely amazing day, bro. Mwah!